All right, we are live. Hey everyone, from wherever you are watching this. I shared a little bit about this particular live stream earlier today on some of my social channels. I'm super excited to have this conversation. I ended up having to wait about a good week or so before we could have the conversation so Donna could go live her best life and take a vacation and all of that stuff. So I've been sitting on my hands waiting to have this conversation. These conversations, these I call them case study interviews, um, client testimonials. These are some of my favorite parts of the work that I do. Seeing my clients on the other side of the work, right? Um, Seeing them become one in the number of the people who they seen on my, you can call it my wall of proof, if you will, and talking about their personal experience and being able to share insight into like what has happened as a result of choosing you, um, as a result of adding a life coach onto your personal board of directors and creating the life that you absolutely love and unapologetically. So I have with me here today my client Donna H, who is nothing short of amazing. Donna, thank you for agreeing to having this conversation live and publicly with me. I appreciate you for that.
And thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Donna, let's get started. I'll introduce myself and then I'll give you a moment to introduce yourself. So, in case you happen to be watching this video, whenever, wherever, it could be live, could be during the replay, and you don't know who I am Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach, and I say mid career professionals quit their 9 to 5 without regret. It looks differently for tons of different people, but that is the gist of the work that I do as a life coach in supporting my clients with creating a life they absolutely love and unapologetically. Now, Donna, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Donna Harris. I'm what I consider myself to be a serial W-2 contributor, to the corporate industry and their bottom line and profit margin. In parallel, if I think about my experience, I, specialize in project management structure, IT delivery for software applications and solutions, mainly in the supply chain, sourcing, procurement, and financial arenas. And I've been doing that across industries related to the government, product consumption for about 2/3 of my career.
Listen, if there's nothing else that you get, nobody can say W2 like Donna, okay? Nobody can say it like Donna. Donna, how does it feel? I know the first conversation that we had, you booked strategy session, right? And in that first conversation, you said a couple of things that are not lost on me, and I probably will never forget. One of them was that you looked at testimonial videos from prior clients, right? How does it feel now being on the other side of that and you being added to that list of clients with testimonials that others will see coming after you?
Um, for me, Danielle, I think the work that you're doing definitely speaks for itself in regards to the testimonials that I saw when it came across my timelines was nothing short of the truth and honesty. And the reason why I say that is because now I'm on the other side and I'm able to give my testimony and my feedback as well, that
Mhm.
the journey that you go through internally, the work that we work on collaboratively, is something that's not short of what you say that you're going to deliver. So I'm excited to be on the other side, embarking on that journey. So
Mm.
again, it wasn't anything different from what was communicated from previous testimonies.
Nice, nice. Um, the other thing that you shared, so not only did you tell me about, you looked at the videos, which is why they're there, which I'm glad you did. And so if you're watching this and you haven't seen them, go watch them. And if you don't know where to find them on my page, send me a DM and I'll get them to you. But the second thing you mentioned is you said, I'm not a millennial, but, right? So tell me more about that experience and kind of coming into the call with me, kind of knowing that that is who I typically target and you not being a millennial.
Oh, absolutely. So, there definitely is a generational gap, but I say finding your sense of purpose and your happiness, defies any type of, age gap, experience gap, etc. So at least for me, my goal was, to understand what my sense of purpose was going to be in life. Understanding that I, have spent, X 2/3 of my, working career already in the industry, and I'm pivoting towards, retiring right now, right? So my objective, wasn't always my end goal was to, become an entrepreneur. And we'll go a little deeper into detail. Mine became more soul searching, about rediscovering life, rediscovering purpose, So again, to me, the valuable experience you brought to me was more about finding myself, searching, about what I really wanted inside of myself, not so much in a tangible, measurable aspect.
Got it. Did it pose any reservations for you, knowing the generational difference that we have?
The generation difference, like I said, no. I think, for me, I can learn from anyone, at any level, and any experience, so I'm always open, to change, always open to adapt, and always open to adopt. So,
Yeah.
before going in, with any preconceived notions, any preconceived expectations, it's like, okay, let's see what this all about. So, yes, we had a connection, it clicked, it was higher power, divine intervention, bringing it together where I was at in my life. So it just felt, right for me to say, all right, let's go and see what this is all about. Because for me, life coaching isn't always about, what I can measure as far as success. Success can mean many things to different people.
Got it. Got it. Hold on, Donna. Don't give them too much too soon. Now, come on.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let me pull back a little bit.
Okay, so tell me, let's take it back to that same vein of like where you were when you believe you saw my ad, you saw the news interview, you clicked the link, you followed the breadcrumbs, you watched the video where I talked about the 7 P's. Um, you continue to take the next step and you book the strategy session, right? So at the point of you booking the strategy session, where were you like in life? Um, and what were you frustrated, overwhelmed, or consumed with that had you wanting to like lean in and see what was possible?
Okay. I was at an impasse, is what I was calling. I was at an impasse, both spiritually. I was at an impasse, career wise. Um, I was burnt out, in the
Mhm.
career that I was in. I had been doing what I was doing for 20 years. I have gotten, a little tired of being underappreciated, but knowing the value that I brought to the table. Also, being pigeonholed, by, my W-2. And then at the same time, which is what I say was divine intervention, I was going on my spiritual journey to define what's my sense of purpose in life, what's my happiness, what's going to make me happy. And I
Mhm.
was no longer motivated by the W-2. I wasn't, no longer receiving what I thought, was my value. And I wasn't looking towards my W-2 anymore to motivate me. So I started to look for outside to see, what are the things that were going to motivate me. But I didn't have that, initially kind of laid out, and I didn't have an outline for what that looked like. So, going through this process helped me get there.
Got it. How long had you been thinking about getting support with that prior to us working together?
I have been thinking about, pivoting, from, my W-2 probably on an annual basis for about, 10 years.
Wow.
We all, for me, I was getting frustrated with what was going on and wanted to do something different.
Hmm.
And I think it came down to, having the faith to take the leap and believe in myself that, the qualities that I possess are marketable no matter what they are. And I think what it came down to, for me was, really digging deep to understand, what those qualities were and how do I really align, those qualities that I have, with what it is I was trying to achieve to get that sense of purpose and fulfillment in life.
Yeah. So, okay, we're in the conversation on the strategy session, right? And as I said, if you go through the process, doesn't matter who you are, like I already put you on notice that, like, hey, book this call, let's hash it out, let's talk about it, let's see what next might look like for you, right? But I also let you know if I think that we're a good fit, I may make an invitation for you to work with me. And I let you know out the gate, listen, it's not free, nor is it cheap to work with me. So, that being said, and cheap is relative to the individual, respectfully. However, we had the strategy session. I did make the invitation for you to work with me. I did feel like you were the perfect fit of a client for me to support you with where it is that you were looking to go, right, and getting the clarity that you did not have at that point in time. So, what fueled your decision ultimately to make that investment to enlist me as your life coach?
The investment was first and foremost for me,
Mhm.
and like I said, it was more about, me going on, my life journey and understanding and getting clarity, what it was that my life journey was going to be. I consider myself, and we've had these conversations in the past, about what I was trying to achieve, where I'm at in my life right now, was a little, you know, different from other individuals, right?
Mhm.
Everyone has their own objectives. So, like I said, I wasn't trying to create an end goal tangible product because I've been there, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so for
Mhm.
me, and us working together, and what made me the decision, to work, with you, Danielle, was one, I felt it was a safe space, for me to
Mhm.
walk through finding out what internally I want. I think, what you provided for me wasn't okay, here's the blueprint, right? But, you have to find out, what your blueprint was. And I think, what one of the, aha moments in our first strategy, session was, you know, we, or me, I'll stick with me, I was my own resistance, right?
Mhm.
And being able to understand and process, that truly and internally. And the way that I took that was I had everything that I needed to catapult to wherever I wanted to go, and the sky, was the limit. I just needed to get out of my own way and believe in myself.
Mm. So many things. So from the blueprint to getting out of your own way, I think that's important, and it also speaks to my philosophy, like on coaching. So, like if you watch, and not just you, Donna, but anybody watching this, if you've watched my free training on how career professionals are putting their six-figure jobs without regret, right? You'll hear me talk about my 7 P's, which are technically my blueprint, right? That is my recommendation on how to free yourself, but there's levels to it. And so what Donna was able to experience is just like, oh yeah, I got a life coach now. Okay, let me come plug and play this into my own world. And it's just like, well, okay, this is where we roll our sleeves up and the magic happens because I personally do not believe in a cookie cutter approach to life. Like we all, and every the work that I do is based in purpose. And so knowing that and knowing that we all have our own unique um, per- life purpose and purpose assignments attached to that, how I do what I do might not work for you. So how you do what needs to be done, it's going to look different, and that's something that you uncovered, which you just spoke to, which I thought was beautiful to witness. But it also, I was able to see you like own it. And like once you own it, Lord help us, buckle up. There's no stopping her. There's no stopping her. But yes, so the blueprint piece was, I think it's appropriate to say pivotal. You agree?
Absolutely. I mean, there's two things that happened, with our strategy session for me. It was okay, let me understand and accept, my reality of where I'm at
Mhm.
now. That was one.
Mhm.
Two, you know, let me not limit myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, I can springboard, and, the sky is definitely the limit,
Yeah.
and, the last thing, is that having the courage to do it. Right. So, we all talk about, for me, how I want to do something different. I said, I've been wanting to do something different and pivot, for about, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Right. So, we kind of get complacent and get comfortable, with the devil that we know, and, we forget about ourselves. And so, sometimes just hearing yourself, compare to where you're at and where you want to go. And like I said, I always talked about, I'm approaching retirement in 5 years, early retirement, yes, but, I still need to get there. And I say that to say that there is no cap on when you can change to define your happiness.
I would almost say we could put a pin in this conversation right now, but I know you got some more goodness coming. So we won't. I should have warned our viewers that you are full of gems just like that. Reverend Donna is always up here preaching, okay?
All right.
Okay, so Donna, what would you say shifted for you as a result of working with me?
Okay. So, my aha moment, came, early on, one or two sessions, one-on-one sessions we were in.
Mm-hmm.
And, you asked me the question, you know, what makes me happy, right? So, I'm a person, I know I can deliver, the educational experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, being in the industry. So I know I can deliver, in those things. And
Yeah.
when we talk about what makes us happy, we can say, the complacent things, you go on a movie vacation, et cetera, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when you really have me think about, okay, what really makes me happy? What gives me that joy?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about, the frequency of leisure, meaning that, I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, but at the same time, being able to provide, value for myself, generational education, for those around me. And it was not always for a monetary, sell or with a monetary objective.
Mm-hmm.
So the pivot moment for me was, wow, what does make me happy? Because just knowing that I have the means to do some of the things is different from having the courage and belief to go ahead and do that. So that for me was the shift as I continue to think about, as I thought. And even now I'd say it with a smile. 3 months ago, I was dumbfounded. I was like, yeah, let me give you a filler answer. But now, it's genuine, knowing that I can achieve those genuine, sincere things that make me happy and do it on my own terms.
Got it. I'm going to ask you this. I'm not sure if the answer will be different, but we'll see. What's been an unexpected outcome of our work together that you're grateful for?
The unexpected outcome for me is believing in myself, right? And you know, going straight forward, to achieve that happiness, right? So there's one thing, to have a dream and to have that fantasy, and then there's another thing is, executing on that,
Mm,
and understanding you have that courage, to do that, and nothing is going to stop you.
okay, now.
So one is taking, having the courage to take the risk, and the other thing is that, okay, now I've taken the risk, the wind is beneath my wings, so now, let me go ahead and take off. So
So wait, let me ask you. So in that same vein, would you say that you felt stuck?
oh yeah, like, if I didn't mention earlier, yeah, I was in murky waters. I was clear as mud, right? So not only felt stuck, I became complacent, right? I said, the devil that we get comfortable, and saying, for me, I
Mhm.
said I got 5 years for my early retirement. I could have stayed and I could have rolled this wave out. And I could have said, yep, I'm gonna, take, my 6 figure, plus salary, living very, very comfortably, financially. But that wasn't my goal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I decided, with your help, is that, my priority was a little different, than what I would look at, when I'm in my 30s or in my 20s or at any point in time. So, you know,
And it's so interesting, Donna, that you are in like this space in life, like you're 5 years out from retirement and not so settled on like letting that just be like riding the wave until the 5 years, right? And 5 years can be a long time. In the
mhm.
grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, it's not that much more time based on your career, but 5 years is 5 years. So, what is it that how is it having that conversation? Because that conversation with maybe friends, peers, loved ones, right? That see Donna's got it going on, right? Is similar to those who may be a little more junior, still junior in their career, right? What I call mid-career professionals ish, and maybe wanting to take the leap. And people are looking at them like they have three heads and four eyeballs. And it's just like, are you crazy? Why would you do something like that? You're making good money. I would do anything to have that job, or the things that people say when they don't understand what it means, what it feels like to have to lace up your shoes every day and walk miles in them in a space where you're unfulfilled and it does not bring you joy. So having that similar type of experience but being on the latter end of your career, but still being interested in like doing something um unprecedented. What was it like having that kind of conversation, if you were even having them in your organic circle or
It,
circles?
that's a great question, Danielle, and it's exactly what you were saying. Like I said, I think the measurement of success is different for other individuals. So while other individuals would measure success by the money in the bank account, etc. For me, success equates to happiness, right? So my happiness and anyone's happiness, you know. Starting out, or if you're mid-career, or if you're late career,
Mm-hmm.
it's never too late, right? If happiness is what you make of it, and happiness also for yourself encompasses how do you perceive yourself, right? And how do you measure happiness for you? And it's and again, and I'll be emphatically clear, there is a difference between happiness and success, right? So when we are making this decision, we have to believe that we can succeed, yes, but happiness is your ultimate goal
Got it. Got it.
for me.
Um, no, I get it. I get it. I think and it's the same thing for most people that find their way in my world, whether they are just watchers soaking up content, or whether they actually take the step and book the strategy session call, or and even become a client. Um, they're looking for something. And even if they aren't able to put a word or a label to it, a lot of times, I would say 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what they're looking for, because there's that unfulfillment. And I used to describe it myself before I quit. I remember someone called me that I knew from a previous division I worked in. I had just taken this new job which was my strategy to get me back to Richmond from DC so I could be marketable in my local market here and cut out my crazy 2 hour commute. And they were like, "Oh, how's the new job?" And I said, "I feel like I am withering away at my desk." And that's after getting up at 3 something in the morning to catch a 5 o'clock van, to commute 2 hours, to do a job I did not love, to ride 2 hours again to come home, to have 2 hours to myself in the evening, just to go to bed so I can get up and do it again the next day. Like I literally felt like I was withering away at my desk. And so I say all that to say there is a pursuit of, it might be labeled as fulfillment, right? I know for me, I started using joy. I want to do something that brings me joy. Um, because there's levels to it. And, I was serious about that. Like, and it's just like, well, what can I do different? And to Donna, you talked about this earlier. You have a wealth, and that's literal and figurative, like for you, of experience, right? You have transferable skills. You're marketable in more ways than 10, probably. And so it's just like, okay, I have all of these things that I could just do with my eyes closed, but do they bring me joy? Do I want to do them? Yeah, I could go and make good money, great money, doing three of the 10, right? Eyes closed, one arm tied behind my back. But do they bring me joy? And there comes a point for some of us where joy takes precedent. And it. This is what I call the mid career crisis. I have dubbed it the mid career crisis when the status quo, it's not doing it. It's not enough. Just checking the box is not enough. Riding the wave is not enough. Collecting, take a six-figure salary, a healthy paycheck, a couple of paychecks every month. It's good. It affords a cushy lifestyle, but are you happy? Right? Are you happy?
I definitely agree with that, Danielle. And if there's a message, for, anyone out there, I definitely applaud the millennials nowadays because they are thinking about themselves,
Mm,
in the right aspect. They're looking at a work-life balance. They're looking at, the flexibility that gives them time,
mm,
to spend with family, do what they want to do.
mm,
Now, do I, wish I would have had, that mindset, 20 years ago? Absolutely. Do I regret it? Absolutely not, because I'm here now.
mhm,
But yes, in the climate, that we're in all aspects, personally, mentally, economically, etc. We really have to think about, what makes us happy, what's our
mhm,
sense of purpose,
mhm,
in life. What do we want that to be? And the motivator is not always going to be financial, and tangible, right? So
yeah,
we really have to, think about that. If we're waking up every morning and I'm getting a great paycheck, but if I absolutely deplore getting up, going to work, that's
mhm,
going to shorten my lifespan,
yeah,
right? Stress and strategy, it's gonna, it can impact me in so many ways.
yeah,
So, life is too short for me. I'm learning at this stage of my life to take those risks.
for sure, for sure. And I want to add a little something on the back of that too. So when we talk about purpose, which is paramount, there's these P's paramount in my world in the work that I do, the principle, whatever you want to say. There is like the game changes when you tap into your purpose, when you go on your own purpose journey, right? And you identify it. It's continuously uncovered, which is levels to that as well. But then when you lead with looking for what brings you joy, but what also impacts other people, but is leveraging what you're naturally gifted and talented in, that's a different level of like being and existing. And where the plot thickens is when you identify how you can monetize it if you choose to do so. Why? Because in my world, you always get to choose, right? So you go on this journey not for the money, you're looking for fulfillment, right? You're looking for joy, you're looking for happiness, whatever your thing is. But then when you find it, and if you want to create a lifestyle around it, you can. Like the possibilities are limitless. And so I feel led to share this in the name of like purpose and how I see purpose. I think we all have our own unique purpose assignment. We were created for a reason, right? However, in different seasons of our lives, we have different purpose assignments. And we often fulfill our purpose assignments before we are aware of what purpose is and that we have it. We show up, we make an impact, and we do our thing. We don't even think anything of it because we're doing what we're naturally gifted in and making an impact and serving other people. It gets muddy when we start looking for it and our awareness expands. However, what we find is that when you're hitting that wall, and for those of you watching this, that wall is likely your mid-career crisis, it's very likely that your assignment in that space has probably been up. Because if you're agitated now, that means that's like you're banging your head against the wall and you probably gotta you're probably bleeding out now. It's time for a change. This is your wake up call, okay? But that purpose assignment probably was done a long time ago. However, you were complacent, you got comfortable, right? And you stopped looking for or being open to what was next. That's a whole different conversation. I might do a separate live about that. But I felt led to say that here based on what Donna shared. So thank you for saying that, Donna. So as we begin to wrap up this testimonial, Donna, what would you say to someone who is currently on the fence about working with me? They have a similar circumstance to you. They're kind of at this place where they're having their own career crisis, whether it's mid career, late career. They know that the 9 to 5 or the W-2, as Donna says, is not doing it for them anymore. They want to do something different and very likely have, they're feeling like that entrepreneurial like nudge. They want to explore what true freedom feels like. But they're on the fence about working with me. What would you say to that person?
You know, I would say, the only way to, get off the fence, is to take action, right? And so that action is believe in yourself. If you're not going to bet on yourself, no one is going to bet on you. That's one. Two, for me, you need to understand, what your sense of purpose is, what you're trying to, achieve your sense of purpose. For me, it was about being who I am, as the true individual I am, and work on attraction rather than promotion, right? Because we can go promote skill sets that we're complacent with, but we're not happy. We can attract people if we are happy. So try to, understand what's your end game. Is your end game, to monetize? Is your end game, happiness? I believe if you have happiness, you can turn that into, monetization. So, but the other thing I would say, Danielle, is it doesn't initially cost you anything to go on a trial to see if you're on the right path. Okay, I said, you won't be able to play in the game if you don't get off the bench.
That part. That
Believe
part.
in yourself.
That part. One thing we didn't talk about, what I didn't mention. So, and it was, I can't see you mentioning it because it was something that I observed during the strategy session when I made the invitation for you to work with me. There was no hesitation. It was, I need this. I'm investing in me. I'm doing this. And there's something about your disposition in that moment and that has played into where we are. It was this sense of like I'm open to possibility, but it's time for me to invest in me, and like that was the energy you brought into this whole relationship that we have developed, right? Like
Absolutely.
I'm here to get something. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna rush the process. I'm gonna trust the process. I hear you, Danielle. This W-2 is getting on my nerves. Let's figure this thing out, right? But there was no hesitation, and I don't knock hesitation or reservation. However, you didn't vacillate. If you did, you didn't let me see it, and if you did, it wasn't for long. But you were decisive. You know what I'm saying? And I think that plays a part into the collapse in time on the clarity that you have now that was clear as mud, as you said in the beginning. Um, so I should have pointed that out earlier, but it just came back to me. So I wanted to share that too. So Donna, to take us out, because I could talk to you all day, because this is what we do. To take us out, what is one word, if you can just do one word, what's one word that you would use to sum up your experience working with me?
I, what my word, I got three that I could think of. So, the first thing, for me was humility, not humiliation. And what I mean by that, humbling myself to understand where I'm at and where it is that I'm trying to go. and put in the work to get there, right? So humility, not humiliation. Um, and the next, word that I would bring up is gratitude, appreciation, for, you providing a safe space, to allow individuals to do the work, on their own. It's not like you're coming with, the outline for every individual saying this is what you must do, and it's tailored to you, the individual. Please don't get it wrong. Faith without works is dead. So, come on in, you're going to prepare to go deep. And then, my last word that I would definitely part with is, life changing. And the reason why I
Mm,
say that, Danielle, is because I've been on autopilot, delivering, based upon, my, skill sets, but I lost my sense of purpose and I lost what
mm.
happiness felt like in regards to living life to my fullest and doing what I wanted to do. And you brought that back, to the forefront. And that is what is driving me. That's my main purpose and my main goal. So
Donna's got a new attitude, a new glow, a new everything. It
definitely.
is beautiful to witness. Listen, the, Donna, you have been amazing. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I will, one of the many things that I will never forget about this part of our journey. um, and it's how you say you talked in your circle about having a life coach, right? Like how you boast about having a life coach. Like it's not something that you, yeah, I got a life coach. It's just like, no, yeah, I got a life coach, and you should have one too.
Most definitely, Danielle. And then I'll just kind of, you know, pivot off of that, as I said, for those that may or may not know, Janelle Monáe, famous singer, hadn't done a record in the last 5 years, and she's now, releasing music. And one of the things they asked her, why now? What has changed? And this was just recently, about 2 weeks ago. She said, what has really changed in my life? She said, one is therapy. She said, two, I got a life coach.
Amen.
Right. So, I say that to say, it benefits everyone if you give it a chance.
Yes, it does. Donna, I love me some of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for like your insight, and thank you in advance for whoever this will serve, seeing this whenever they see it, wherever they see it. I know we'll be in touch, but thank you again, and I appreciate you so much.
Danielle, thank you,
You're welcome.
for all the work that you do. It's definitely bringing value. I have benefited from it, and I look forward to us, connecting real soon.
Yes, for sure. All right, if you're watching this and you made it this far and you're interested in seeing what it might be like for you to work with me, what's on the other side of you investing in you, and how you can have an experience similar to Donna's and the rest of my clients, I want to invite you to book a free strategy session. All you have to do is go to www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. That's www, and you must put the www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. Complete the questionnaire, and we'll take it from there. All right, Donna, I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Danielle. Take
You're
care.
welcome.
Bye.